if you watch this video till the end, you will have the most results you can when it comes to language learning. And so, who am I to actually tell you this? Well, I have prepared this presentation, and this is who I am. I basically have achieved a good body when it comes to language learning. I am learning Japanese right now. I can まあ普通に喋るけど、まあそうですね。ある程度のね、まだね、流暢にはなれないね。And of course, I speak English and I'm a Spanish native right now. If you didn't know that. And something that happened to me when I was learning English was that I got addicted to basically TikTok because I was using TikTok a lot. I was using like video games and all these things. And because of this, I basically got addicted to things I didn't want to get addicted to, and I don't want that to happen to the people in the community of basically language learning. And so, if you want to actually not be this type of person that is addicted to video games, TikTok through language learning, I help people with that because I literally watch 8 hours of TikTok daily, usually. And so, the first point that we're going to be talking about is language learning will not change in a bit. And so, what I mean by this is that 3 years from now, 4 years from now, language learning will actually not change that much. And this is something that if you can understand, you will say, okay, but like, I don't need to watch, I don't have the necessity of watching language learning videos anymore. And so, why I'm watching you? So, this is something that I tell people a lot in my channel. If you don't really watch that much my channel, so you need to literally stop watching videos about language learning. Because if language learning will not change, why do you keep getting all of this information about something that literally you won't change the method, you won't change like the method that you're doing? Like, if we're being totally honest, the only thing that can change when it comes to like language learning is literally use AI type of things, right? So if AI will not change that much because AI will change like, I don't know, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 3 years, ChatGPT 6 comes out, maybe that's the only thing that will happen in reality. Like, you probably know about this, right? And so if it will not change, why do we keep watching videos in our channel? So literally we're wasting our time. And I've actually had a client, I've actually not a client, sorry, a guy that I was helping. And he told me that basically he was watching language learning videos literally, I don't know, 4 to 5 hours daily. And so, do you want to be the type of person that watches videos about language learning 4 to 5 hours daily? Actually, I asked him a question which was like, okay, but like, how do you find so much videos in language learning? And they were like about podcasts and things. And in reality, like, language learning is just like so simple, like really simple, that if you literally just investigate for like, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours, and then you literally apply the plan that you found during those 3 hours for like 1 year straight, 2 years straight, you probably will be able to talk the language in like without really that much problems. Because there's actually not that much things that you could do wrong when it comes to language learning, unless it's a language like, I don't know, that not much people talk about, and there's maybe not that much resources. But in your case, you're probably like, I don't know, learning Japanese, you're probably, I don't know, learning English, French, German. And so these languages are actually like, there are a lot of resources when it comes to like learning these languages. And so I don't think that you should actually be watching videos about language learning, because language learning will not change. And so the next point that we're going to be talking about is short-form content should be not used. And so when it came to my English, the first 2 years of my English, I used things like videos on YouTube for like 5 minutes. I used TikTok a lot. I used even Instagram a lot. And so these were things that, I mean, while it helped me to actually learn the language, because you can see right now that I can speak the language, you can understand me, and I'm pretty much talking in the language pretty fluently, I will say. I will say, no, I'm talking the language very fluently. You can kind of guess that if you keep watching shorts, even if you're learning a language, even if you're doing something productive with those shorts, in like 2 to 3 years, you will say, okay, but like, I just fried my dopamine system in order to learn a language. And there's actually not that much like difference in the there's actually no difference in the results that you will get out of like watching long form content instead of short form content. And so the first thing that I will say to you is that if you watch a video on YouTube that says the new way of learning languages with TikTok or with Instagram, sure, I don't know, scroll your way. I saw actually, I don't have any problems with the guy, but like I saw a video which was scroll your way up to scroll your way up to fluency or something like that. And it was like, bro, like yeah, you can do it, but like something that happened to me was that okay, I got to the 2 years mark, 2 years and a half mark, and okay, cool. I now can understand like 99% of the language. But like what happened to me was that my attention span, of course, was bullshit. And I couldn't do anything that was not either playing video games in English or I could, or basically like literally watching TikTok or short form content in YouTube or whatever type of short form content. I could literally not do anything that was like those two type of tasks, right? Maybe like I was really bad, basically. And that's why I say that short form content is like literally really bullshit. Because like when you want to like go and then you want to maybe read something, you want to improve your pronunciation. Like I wasn't able to be more than I don't know 5 to 10 days like of having like 10 days or like 20 days of consistency on something that I wanted to do, right? And even like I'm teaching right now my sister in English. I don't know if you watched like I made the video 1 week ago, more or less. I literally I'm teaching my sister English and she watches lots of TikTok and she literally like every like 5 to 6 to 7 days she will probably miss 1 day, which is actually not that bad, but it's still for a fact that it's not something that like it's like very efficient, right? And so you probably don't want to like watch TikTok if you don't want to like if you want to actually be consistent on something that you want. And so actually something that I want to tell you here too is that if you miss a day, like you're gonna still keep going. You know that, right? Because there's people that, for example, with Anki, there's this thing with like maintaining the streaks when it comes to studying or when it comes to things like Anki. And in reality, when I think about that, it's like, bro, like you're trying to maintain the streak, but like there's probably going to be a day in which you like lose the streak. I didn't even I'm going to tell you like if you can't like save 30 minutes of your day to like maintain a streak, okay, it's like bro, you're kind of dumb. Let's be honest. But like there's going to be a day in which you're not going to be able to like study for more than 3 to 4 hours. And if you count those hours of study as your streak, of course you will not be able to maintain it like someday. Like in 2 years, 3 years on time, someday you will not have the time. Right? You will not have those 3 hours. And so when you lose that streak, will you actually, right? Like, do you actually lose your progress? Of course not, right? And so basically, trying to maintain streaks is something that I actually don't really relate with. Like, whenever I want to like just not study, I just don't study, and then basically I keep studying for like I don't know 1 year entirely, and maybe I missed like what 10 days, 20 days, totally fine. Honestly, like yesterday, January, 2 days ago, more or less. Yeah, 2 days ago, I went to actually the pool, and I literally just studied like Japanese, maybe what, 1 hour, 2 hours, doesn't really matter. Like the only thing that actually makes my Japanese right now kind of like improve is just talking, and if I just talk for like 1 hour or 2 hours, that's probably enough, honestly. So yeah, I will say to you that don't try to maintain streaks and don't use short form content if you actually want to like get even more results. The next point is how do you actually resist uncertainty? And this is something that people starting don't really like know much about because I mean people talk about this, yes, but like I feel like there's people saying use okay, but like you should resist use uncertainty, and in reality, no, not that much anymore. Why? I mean, I do feel like you need to have some discipline, especially on the starting levels, because you probably will not have more than a 30 to 50% of comprehension, and because of this, you will not be able to like understand like the series that you're watching, right? But still, like right now, we have AI, right? And because we have AI, basically you can do things like, okay, I want to study these 30 pieces of vocabulary. I have already studied them, and you will tell me now, right? You will tell me now a story with those 30 pieces of vocabulary. And when you basically do that, you are basically doing a type of immersion, which could be written like you can literally put that text in a, I don't know, a TTS picture, or I don't know the name, ITTS, I think it was. And basically, it generates the audio of that thing, and you can listen to it while you read it, and you are literally using the type of vocabulary that you already have studied. And because of that, you will have in that text like 90% of comprehension. And so you shouldn't really like be forcing yourself that much when it comes to like trying to like understand some type of like movie or something like that. In reality, it's not necessary anymore. The thing that you should do is literally just, okay, I'm going to study that text, I'm going to use the vocabulary that I want to study, and that's it. Right. Now, I do feel like, I mean, if you want to watch more natural type of content, yes, you need to actually resist some uncertainty. But like, if it comes from for like more than like, if you're trying to resist more than 2 hours of watching something in which you don't understand, maybe a 30% even, like, I don't think that's actually efficient. Like, let me be honest with you. Like, when I was studying Japanese for the first months, I was doing like 10 hours of immersion, but like, was it actually that efficient? It wasn't. Honestly, it wasn't. And so, if you do immersion and you don't, and you're really like not understanding that much, like it will not really be as efficient. And so, yeah, maybe you want to honestly just do like 2 hours in which you have like 90% of comprehension on the things. On a story that ChatGPT gives you, right? You listen to it, you read it, like you even say it out loud, and by doing that, basically you will be able to understand the language pretty easily and study it kind of like, and it will be kind of fun because now you can understand. Now, if you actually definitely need to like resist uncertainty on the type of content that you're watching, I will say to you, okay, like we need to do other things. And so when it comes to uncertainty, like it's basically your ability to resist something that is boring. And how do you do this? Well, basically, you have to do things on a daily basis that are boring. That is how it works. Simple. Like, simple. And so you can imagine that the type of person, you can imagine even like this type of person right here. Could you imagine that this person is like watching TikTok for 8 hours daily? You probably can't imagine that. Yeah, because I was doing it. But like, can't you imagine that this type of person watches TikTok for 8 hours daily? Maybe yeah, but like it's more difficult to imagine it, right? And so, basically, what some of the things that I did that I do on a daily basis right now is I read a lot more. I also, on top of reading a lot, you need to meditate a lot. Like the two most efficient tasks that you could do to improve your um, attention span are reading and meditation. In actually, meditation will be first, and reading will be second. So if you can meditate literally 10 minutes every day for the rest of your life, you will literally have a 99% better attention span than the average person in the world right now. Right? It's literally as simple as that. And so basically, if you want to have a better attention span, what you should do is you meditate for 10 minutes, and then after meditating for 10 minutes, you will basically just um, read for like 1 hour, 2 hours. Even it doesn't matter even if it's in your native language. Like, no, the thing that we're carrying here is just stopping the fucking scrolling. If you don't stop your fucking scrolling, of course you will not like be able to improve your attention span. I think it's actually like you can actually understand this, right? So yeah, that's actually how you kind of like improve your attention span. And of course, if you improve your attention span, you will be able to pay more attention to the things that you're watching. And if you can pay more attention to the thing that you're watching, basically you are already persisting uncertainty. Oh my god. Being stuck should actually not happen. And I was talking with actually, yeah, a client yesterday, and basically he told me that he was stuck. He didn't know what to do, and he's basically at this phase in his English, in which he's basically just not like he doesn't know what to do to improve in his speaking skill, right? And so I told him, okay, but what are you doing right now? And he told me, okay, I'm not doing anything because I don't know what to do. Oh my God, look, I'm just super stuck. And so I basically told him, okay, he told me that he needed to learn more phrasal verbs. And so I told him, okay, but why don't you ask a literally something that came to my mind the same, at the same moment he told me this. Why don't you go to the AI, which is actually free, Google AI, you can literally put google.ai.com. And if you put that, you'll have Gemini 2.5, which is actually very similar to ChatGPT 5, right? And if you have that, now you can ask AI, give me 10 to 20 phrasal verbs of the last video I watched on YouTube. Okay, you need to go to the historial, the history on YouTube, grab your last video that you watched and literally put it in the AI. I know, super hard, right? And you ask AI, okay, give me 10 to 20 phrasal verbs on this video that I watched, and he will give it. He will give them to you. And tomorrow, you study those 10 to 20 phrasal verbs, you listen to them, you use them, and you read them aloud to practice also the pronunciation. And so he basically told me that he had only 1 hour available on his day. And so basically, that's what you need to do if you actually do want to improve. Like, if you only if you actually don't want to be stuck, I feel like people get stuck just because they don't have enough information, which yeah could be a problem, of course. But in reality, getting stuck should not happen as long as you have enough information and you know what you're doing. Of course, you can actually argue here that not all people know what they need to do, but language learning is really simple. Language learning, there's only 3 steps to it. In language learning, you maybe learn some vocabulary first. You probably don't learn grammar. You can, but it's not really that necessary. You can learn some vocabulary, and after learning some vocabulary, you do immersion. After you learn immediately after you learn vocabulary, you start doing immersion. So you actually have that vocabulary fresh in your mind. You can do the immersion, which in basically you ask AI the vocabulary that you ask AI the vocabulary that you studied, and that vocabulary, now you watch it on a story made from the AI. You have 90% of comprehension since the start, which will actually give you a lot of progress, right? And by doing this, basically, you will never get stuck because you're always studying new vocabulary. Sorry, I actually got out of the point here, but yeah, language learning is just basically super simple. There are 3 steps: learn vocabulary, maybe learn some grammar, do immersion, and at some point you will start talking. After 6 months of the immersion, you start talking. Basically, that's it. That's language learning. And so, why should you get stuck? I don't really I will say I don't really understand, but I can understand that some people get stuck just because they don't think about the solution. like it sounds weird, but literally the solution to this guy came to my mind in 1 minute, and he was stuck with this problem for maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks. He didn't know what to do in just 1 hour. But in reality, when in doubt, right? When in doubt, you should basically just do this one thing. What is the most essential task in the language learning, in my language learning activities, in my language learning studies? And you should know that depending on your level, that is either immersion or speaking. In the case of this guy, it's kind of speaking, but not that much. We need to get like his word. We need to get like the words that he has into his fucking like the words, the phrasal verbs that he wants to learn into his brain. Like force those fucking phrasal verbs into his brain, right? And so basically, the task that is the most efficient task that he can do. And by doing that, literally in just 1 hour for like I don't know 2 to 3 weeks, he will probably learn I don't know 300 phrasal verbs. If you learn like I don't know maybe 20 a week, sorry, 20 a day or something like that, he would probably like in 2 to 3 weeks learn like I don't know 210 phrasal verbs, which will be like I don't know maybe I don't know how many words, but you get the point, right? If you know the most essential actions that will get you 80% of the results, basically you will never get stuck. That's how it works. I don't know if this was the last point. Yeah, this was the last point. So check the two first links in the description. And the one is basically my free coaching, and the second one is basically the paid product, which is basically I have put like more than 100 hours in there. So I recommend to you that you go in there if you actually trust me enough. And so yeah, that's kind of it. Bye.